Hi, I'm Lucy Smith, and you're watching Game On with Jeff and Paul. And do I have to look in that camera or at myself?
You're looking in the camera.
And you're watching Sports Cage. It's not Sports Cage. You're watching Game On. Hi, I'm Lucy Smith, and I can run the TC 10K at least 10 minutes faster than Jeff and Paul. And you're watching Game On.
It's Game On.
Tonight we talk BC bike race with Olympian Andreas Hessler.
I joined the VIJHL All-Stars in the Comox Valley.
And Sean Robertson channels his dad.
This is Alec Robertson reporting for CHEK 6 News.
It's Game On.
Game On is brought to you by Jenner Chevrolet Buick GMC. Here for you and in your community on the Old Island Highway. Game On's Sports Cage is brought to you by Country Grocer. You'll feel like family.
Welcome back to Game On. I'm Jeff, this is Paul, and Lucy Smith joins us tonight in the Sports Cage. Thanks for coming in. And everyone wants to know, well, you've just written a book, but just about your life period. I mean, you're so busy. Tell us about life, because you have 2 kids and you're a busy lady.
I am busy. I seem to have a lot of energy.
Yeah. I noticed that.
and you know, it does run away with you sometimes, but you know, when you have kids, your life does become very grounded, and your values about what you really want out of your life become very clear as well. And you know, the one thing that's always been so important to me is to be healthy and to lead an active lifestyle. Right. It's been my career, it's been my hobby, it's been my game. I've been very lucky that way. But you know, after having children and getting that much more busier, you know, you realize that it's also really necessary.
Absolutely. So, top athlete, mom, and now author. Let's talk a little bit about the book. Ironman, it's called First Triathlon, Your Perfect Plan for Success. So tell us about where the idea came and how you went about writing it.
Well, I've always actually wanted to write a book. Apart from my athletic and my coaching background, I actually have a degree in literature and writing.
Oh, nice.
And creative writing has always been a huge passion for me. So when I was presented with the opportunity to write a book in partnership with Life Sport, our coaching company, right. I just took it on. I said yes. If you know, this is my opportunity to put on paper so many things that I've learned in my career as an athlete, but also as being a coach of a lot of novice athletes and all the clinics that I've run over the years. And so this book was fun for me because I got to include just firsthand personal knowledge of what it's like to be an athlete, and some of the things that elite athletes go through, but also how to just get out the door and start this.
Get going,
get kicked in the butt and just go do it.
Exactly, it's an exciting sport, but people get bogged down with it seeming overly technical, but it's not.
So take us back to your brilliant career. I mean, you know, when you got started out, and you know, when you look back at the World Championships and 19-time Canadian champion and everything else, you know, maybe talk to us about some of the highlights and, you know, some of the amazing, you know, moments of your career.
Yeah, well, yeah, it's true. And that's a whole other book.
Yeah, no doubt, yeah. We'll have a half-hour show as well.
I know, and I, you know, the last talk I did, I probably talked for an hour on my experiences, and I could have talked for another 3 hours to an incredibly, you know, gregarious audience. For sure, you know, one of the highlights of my career was actually going back to the World Championships in duathlon 10 years after the first time I'd gone. It was in Newfoundland, so it was in my home country as opposed to Italy, and I had already had my 2 children. And to go back and get another silver medal at a World Championships after I'd already really shifted my whole life focus to parenting, that was hugely, you know, a hugely satisfying event. But apart from that, it's really a string of memories. It's a string of incredible experiences, and the one thing I think most athletes have the hardest time transitioning away from is just the sheer effort that you put into every single session. You know, there is just no time in your life where you work so hard and put so much on the line as when you're training for a World Championships or an Olympics or an Olympic trials.
I'd like to get into that, because when you decided to have your kids, I mean, you had put so much into your career and so much into your training, and then just to make that decision, how hard was that to move into? Because it is such a big movement.
Yeah, right?
It is. It was, and I mean, you know, to be perfectly honest, the decision was kind of made for me.
Yeah.
It was like, okay, you know, I'm pregnant. My life.
Time
You know, I mean, Lance and I were always going to have kids from the moment we met. That was clear, and I always knew I wanted children. So it was just okay. Here we go. This is the next phase of my life. You know, sometimes I look back, and I now know that a lot of women are in sports do plan their pregnancies a little more than maybe I did.
Right.
But I must say it was you know, having children, it just gave me another focus. You know, it gave me something else to focus on for a while, which in my case I think was a good thing. It was like, okay, I don't have to be the #1 superstar of my life 100% of the time. So I guess for me it was just, you know, I have sport, I have kids, and there was always going to have to be a balance between the two, because I can't imagine life without children.
I guess not. Well, let's talk about Victoria, the Victoria scene, the Victoria running community. What is it? Is it something in the water here, or you know, what is it about this island and creating so many amazing, well, not only runners but triathletes and you know, Ironmen and cyclists and everything else, and you know, you're accomplished in many different things. What is it, Lucy?
It is a combination of so many things, and it's an interesting point, because the moment we moved here in 1990, you know, I got on board with Pacific Sport Victoria, and have still been involved with them, and it's a combination of climate for sure. A lot of the sports teams that are centered in Victoria are the ones that need outside venues year round. So the mountain bikers, the rowers, the runners, the triathletes. So there's definitely a climate thing involved there. But then there's this environment of, I don't know if it's a West Coast thing, it's an environment of supporting the success and saying what you are doing is great, and we wholeheartedly support you, because so many people in the community value being active.
All right, so you brought up the TC 10K, and I think we wanted to,
events.
one of your favorite events, and it is an event that you often take part in. But
Often take part in?
Well,
About as wins most of the time.
That's true. But we wanted to bring up personal bests here for the TC 10K. I think I'm the lowest on the totem pole here. Jeff holds the CHEK News record.
Well, I have 43:03, I think.
I could get you down under 40, you know.
You know what? Maybe I'll take you up on that. And you were what? You were
44:30. I chased him down, but didn't
30.
catch him. So.
And what's your PB at the?
At the PB at the TC 10K would be probably 33:30. I always lament the fact that there aren't any other people for me to compete against, because, especially as you know, when as I've gotten older, it's like, well, I want where are all those young women?
You want to compete against
where are
them.
they? I just want them in the field, you know.
Yeah.
And I feel proud of the fact that I'm still racing so well. I still love racing really well. At the same time, competition is fun.
Where can we get the book? Because we're running out of time here. Where can we pick the book up?
You can definitely get the book online if you want, through Amazon. You can pick the book up at Tanner's, down at Russell Books downtown, and I'm not sure about the other big bookstores, but I have a couple of signed copies up at Tanner's in Sydney, and I'll try to get around to the other bookstores as well, and maybe launch the book at Front Runners pretty soon.
Well, I'm going to read this and
I'm going to have a look at this as well, and we'll see you at the TC 10K. Lucy, thanks so much for coming in. You're inspirational to so many runners here, and have been such a great coach and role model, so thanks very much for coming in and hanging with us this afternoon.
You're welcome. Okay.
All right, that's another edition of Game On. We'll see you next Monday night at 7:30. Game on.